Finally, after years of mediocrity from the Mario Party series, Nintendo has finally given us a proper, brand new Mario Party for the Nintendo Switch, Super Mario Party Jamboree. Out of all the Mario Party games on Switch, Jamboree is easily the best one. The first Super Mario Party was alright, but had lackluster boards and really unbalanced gameplay. Then we had Mario Party Superstars, which was a great game, but it focused heavily on old content and didn't have much substantial side content. Super Mario Party Jamboree fixes all of that and gives us one of the best Mario Party experiences of all time. The presentation is amazing, there's so much content to play around with, the minigames are awesome, the most minigames in any Mario Party, and we have 7 amazing boards to enjoy. So today, I'm going to rank every board in Super Mario Party Jamboree from worst to best. This list will be based on how fun they are to play on, as well as what unique features each one has. So without further ado, let's go! Along with the 5 brand new boards this game introduces, Jamboree brings back 2 retro boards as well, one from Mario Party 1 and one from Mario Party 2. And I gotta be honest, the one they brought back from the first Mario Party game is kind of lackluster, and that is Mario's Rainbow Castle. It's a board that takes place high in the clouds, and in the center, you'll find a castle where you get the star, and that's the only place to get the star. It doesn't randomly spawn anywhere on the board, it just stays in this one spot and the players go around in the same circle over and over again. There's barely any splitting paths, and as a whole, this board has almost nothing interesting happening. There is one cool gimmick Mario's Rainbow Castle has going for it. Like I said, you have to get to the center of the board to get the star, but every time that happens, Toad switches places with Bowser, and the board becomes all dark and stormy, and if you show up to the middle when Bowser is there, he will steal 20 coins and give you a Zatar, which is completely useless. The board constantly switches between Toad and Bowser, so you just have to pray you can get a star when you get over there. There are ways to increase your odds of getting a star. You can land on an event space to switch things up early, or you can buy an item for a chance to switch them whenever you feel like. But that's about it. That's all Mario's Rainbow Castle has to offer. It's perfectly fine to have a more basic board every now and then, but compared to the other maps in this game, this one is incredibly boring. You know how I just complained about Mario's Rainbow Castle and how it was pretty boring and basically one small circle you went around over and over again? Well, the next board on this list, Raceway, is pretty much the same thing, but done a lot better. This board is themed around a racetrack, so everyone is in their own little race car. That's adorable. Just like with Mario's Rainbow Castle, Raceway is basically a small circle with barely any splitting paths. However, unlike Mario's Rainbow Castle, the star switches between 2 different spots, so there's a little bit of strategy in which path to go for. But also, get this, there's actual stuff that happens on this board. There are spaces that can send you forward or backwards. Every time you pass through the goal, you gain 10 more coins than the last time, or you can take a separate route and get a bunch of dice blocks for cheaper. And you know those paths where you can grab a star? Well, if you land on a certain event space, this bruiser in a giant monster truck will come blazing down the road and chase down anyone who gets in his way. There's also an item exclusive to this board called the Turbo Dice. Using this item lets you roll 4 dice blocks at once, but it comes with the caveat that you can't stop for anything while moving. You can't stop for the item shop, allies, or the star. You just keep zooming. This board does suffer a bit from what Mario's Rainbow Castle had, and that's the fact that the board is a lot smaller than most others in the game. But overall, Raceway is much more fun than that board, and I could see myself replaying this one. Whenever a new Mario Party comes out, I always like to start with the very first board in the lineup. That way I can get a clear understanding of what each game has to offer, and in Jamboree's case, the very first board is Mega Wiggler's Tree Party. I really like this board. It's very standard, but also really fun. I love the lush greenery and all the little details spread throughout the place, especially this little picnic area. It's decently sized with plenty of different paths to take, and there are even some special events that can happen as well. well. You can help out this spike and get some honey, which may earn you a ton of extra coins. There are a handful of piranha plants lurking around the place, and if you land near one of them, they'll steal your coins. But not only that, each time they steal coins, they get a little bit bigger, which means they will steal even more coins the next time someone lands by them. But of course, the star of the show here is the Mega Wiggler. He spends most of his time taking a nap in the middle of the stage, and players can use him to get to other parts of the board quicker, but every time someone rings a Wiggler bell, he'll wake up and move to a different spot. This can greatly change the game, as it could help you get to the star faster or screw you over and make you take the longer path. But on top of that, sometimes ringing the bell will make Wiggler go angry and cause all the spaces on him to go red. It's a very simple but effective gimmick that makes the board a lot more unique. I really enjoyed this board, and it's a great way to kick off the game. If you've played a Mario Party game before, you probably know that most of them have an unlockable board that's themed all around Bowser. Bowser's Magma Mountain, Bowser's Gnarly Party, Bowser Nightmare, Bowser's Enchanted Inferno, and for Mario Party Jamboree, we have King Bowser's Keep. And truthfully, I think it's a bit disappointing. It's not a bad board by any means, not at all. It's a ton of fun to play. This board has quite a lot of stuff going on, and Bowser is plopped right in the middle to torment us. The main feature of the board is this middle square that's constantly switching directions throughout the game, and every few turns, Bowser will add several Bowser spaces to this area, and if you land on one of those, Bowser will spin a roulette to punish you, or sometimes he won't and just steal a star from you anyways. And as the game goes on and more Bowser spaces get added, simply walking through this area becomes a hazard. There's a couple other tricks and traps to avoid, like these bullet bill cannons or this fight with a Mecha Koopa, and there's this secret vault that will give a ton of coins to whoever guesses the combination. All of this sounds really cool, and it definitely is, but the problem is, it's just not enough. This is Bowser's board. I want there to be mayhem and chaos around every corner. I want this board to be constantly screwing with me. I want my anxiety to shoot through the roof when playing through this board. But as it is, King Bowser's Keep is a perfectly fine board, but as the final map you unlock, I was expecting more. With how much Mario and the gang work so hard, I think it's fair for them to get a vacation every once in a while, and thankfully, Mario Party Jamboree gives us the perfect place to enjoy a little vacation, and that is Goomba Lagoon. This board is a beautiful beach. Seriously, look at that water, with several little islands, a pirate ship, and a giant volcano in the shape of a Goomba. What's really cool about this board is that throughout the game, the tide will constantly rise and fall, so certain paths will only be available depending on the tide. This creates an interesting form of strategy, as you need to plan ahead to see if certain paths are worth going for, or if you're really unlucky, you'll get stuck going in circles at times, which can be a huge pain in the ass. There are also zip lines that can take you to the other side of the map, whether you like it or not. The pirate ship has a collection of treasure chests that could possibly give you an item, but of course, the main attraction is the huge volcano in the middle. Every time someone passes by this area, the volcano will erupt, causing one of two things to happen. Either a bunch of fireballs will cover nearby spaces and you'll lose 3 coins each time you pass one, or a bunch of golden Goombas will pop out and you'll earn 5 coins for each one you pass. All of these different gimmicks are so cool, and they really get you to explore the different parts of the board. If I had any complaints, sometimes getting cut off from a certain place because of the tide can be quite annoying, but I think that's the whole point. Overall, this board is awesome. When it comes to levels in video games, I'm not a big fan of desert levels. There's just something about them that rubs me the wrong way, and they're not that fun overall, but I'm gonna have to give an exception to the next board on this list, Western Land. This board originates from Mario Party 2 and takes place in an old town out in the west. I really admire just how much detail they put into this place. It really sells the theme this board is going for. Anyways, the first thing that's immediately obvious when you first play on this board board is the train. Surrounding the board is a giant train track with several train stations scattered around as well. If you get to a station and the train is there, you can pay for it to take you to a certain spot on the board. You can also buy a train ticket to summon the train immediately. But that's not all the train does, because if you happen to be on the train tracks when the train is coming along, you get yeeted back to the start of the board. That is so incredibly brutal, and I love it. The train even goes whee whenever it moves, which is hilarious. Aside from that, the board has a few special paths you can take if you have a skeleton key on hand, and you can visit the milk saloon where you can invite one or all of the other players to come enjoy some milk, and they have to show up whether they like it or not. So if you want to be a big asshole, you can. For a board that's technically over 2 decades old, Western Land holds up surprisingly well and is extremely fun to play on, but against all odds, it was outdone by one board that's even better. Up until this point of the video, we've seen some pretty cool boards on this list, but in my opinion, all of them were easily shut out by the number 1 spot, and that spot goes to Rainbow Galleria. Rainbow Galleria is by far the greatest board in Mario Party Jamboree, and one of my favorite Mario Party boards of all time. First of all, just the idea of a board taking place in a shopping mall is ingenious. Malls already have people running around frantically trying to buy things, and Rainbow Galleria takes that concept and executes it brilliantly. There are 3 different floors of the mall to traverse, with tons of escalators and an elevator to get to each one quickly. There are several different stores to shop at to get all sorts of cool items. There's even a store exclusive to the person in last place. That is phenomenal. You can go around and collect stamps and trade them in for a fat stack of coins. There's a special item where a player of your choice is forced to pay double for everything. There's a raffle where you have a chance to earn coins based on how many items you bought. There's even this bitch Womp who will force you to give up one of your items and not even give you the proper amount of coins for it. And of course, there's the flash sale. Every 5 turns, a flash sale happens where everything goes on sale for 50% off, so you could have a chance to get a star or other items for super cheap. The amount of cool ideas this board brings is absolutely insane, and it somehow manages all of them beautifully. Rainbow Galleria is an outstanding board, and is my pick for the best board in Super Mario Party Jamboree. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then make sure to give it a like, and let me know down in the comments what your favorite board is from Super Mario Party Jamboree. Also, make sure to subscribe so you can see more videos like this in the future. Have a great day, stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next one.